Good afternoon, all. On behalf of Zillion Business Solutions, let me welcome you all for today's webinar on digitalizing your employee expenses. First of all, we hope you all are staying safe and working from home or office. Also, I'm sure all the organizations who are joining us today have taken required measurements to minimize the negative effect on their businesses. Well, as employees and employers, expenses occurs to all of us in our day-to-day work, but managing those expenses is done in a very traditional manual way, even in an era where we talk about enterprise automation. So the key focus area in today's webinar is going to be on how to digitalize these manual processes in employee expenses management, where we plan to discuss about the cash advances, travel expenses, and as an overall employee expense management. Right. Without any further delay, let me introduce you to one of our presenters today. He's none other than Steve Solomon, one of our senior consultants, who is very familiar to most of you all. So I would like to hand over to Steve to continue from here.
Thank you, Amila. Very good afternoon to everyone. So thanks for joining for our today's webinar. So hope all you are doing very safe in this pandemic. So let's start with our session. So today our title will be like digitize your employee expenses with Sage 300. So currently we have most of us we are having Sage 300 running as in our organization. So in this we would like to introduce how we can automate with the approval processes, workflows like email triggers and those things with digitize employee expenses by giving access from anywhere, from any devices on this time. Okay, so our agenda would be solution introduction, technology enabling, accessibility and SMEs, benefit of the expense management, and the solution demo. So solution introduction, this is one of the biggest vertical which is developed in top of the Sage 300 SDK. It's enable employee or employees to access the system from as in a web-based as well as in their mobile. So this is actually maintain their travel request. So if there is any travel plans or any travel official travel plans that can be request cash advances and those expenses entry and how it is posted into Sage 300 ERP for the relevant modules. So this is a technology enabling concept. So this the solution can be accessed in mobile, tablet, PC, and even it can be supported for any operating system like such as like Android, iOS, and it's connected. It's have a separated employee portal, and those employee portal data are connected with Sage 300 ERP in a backend as well. So if I talk about the accessibility, so it's real-time accessibility. So it's where once we post any data from it came from our mobile or from the web base, it's real-time, it's updated in the backend and all in one solution. So there is no any separate UI or separate screens or separate application that we need to run. So everything inbuilt and embedded in a one solution. And it's a real-time integration as well. So there is no any downtime. Okay, so we can decide what are the ledgers this data needs to be updated. So it's a real-time integration. And when you think about the cost, okay, in this situation, and really it's affordable on the modular. And if you take the industries, like it's capable of handling like small industries, medium or enterprise industries, and any sizes, any business. So this is not stick with a separate business vertical. So this can be run on any business vertical in the industry as well. And these are the benefits of the expense management. So this is a web-based and mobile-based, as I explained previously, and it's with the approval process, and it's really connected with Sage 300 database backend applications, seamless integrations, and multi-level of workflow and the document attachments, and facilitate multi-currency supports, and we can maintain the budget itself, and this expenses category can be given as a division, regions, departments, cost centers, and the expenses category can be billable or non-billable, and multiple attachment of the documents also can be maintained. So now we can go through the demo. Okay, and in the demo we'll be going in the very detail, so all the entries and how the system has been working. So I will introduce Dulanta. So where I'll be going through the demo on the system. So let's me give the system to Dulanta.
Hi everyone, good afternoon to you all. And once again, thank you very much for allocating your time for this session. So actually Steve has given you an overall idea about the expense management solution in the Sage 300 ERP. So now I'm going to give a detailed demonstration about the processes and the functionalities in this solution. And I will do some sample transaction entering using actual business scenarios. So then you can identify how it's capable to manage your employee related expenses in the Sage 300 ERP. Okay, so as you can see, this is the login screen of the employee expense management solution. Okay, it's powered by the Nomin team. Nomin is the Sage SDK development partner. Okay, so this is fully web-based solution, and it has the mobile application as well. So you can directly download that from the Google Play Store, Apple Store into your mobile, and from an easy configuration, you can access the system. Okay, so this is kind of a hybrid solution we can call, because the normal staff users can log into this portal, and they can submit their expense reports or cash advance requests through the portal for the management approval. And the management users can use this same portal as an approval console, so they can log into the system and approve the transaction online. And the most important thing is they can track the informations real time. So this is kind of a cost-effective way you can get the employee-related expenses to the Sage 300 ERP, because from now onwards, you don't want to waste say 300 expensive line pack licenses. So what you can do is you can give this portal access to your operational staff. So from then you can get their employee expense informations, and those informations you can validate through the comprehensive approval workflow processes in this solution. So those validate informations you can transfer to the Sage 300 for the financial consideration. Okay, so that is one of the main benefits you can gain if you can have these expense management solution in your organization. So now I'm going to sign into the portal to show you the functionalities. Okay, so when I sign in, I can use the Windows credentials also. You can set up that in the admin portal. So there's a separate admin portal for this application. So that is where all the admin related functionalities are handled, like user creation and user permission metrics. So here I'm going to log in as a normal staff employee. Okay. So this is the home page of the ESS portal. So it is fully customized, and you can see the menu tiles. You can see the menu tiles here. It's fully customized. You can drag and drop here and there as per your requirement. So there are some common features I need to show you. So one is calendar. So this calendar is pretty much similar to the calendar you are currently using in the Microsoft Outlook mail. Okay, the same way you can plan your events with date and times. You can add location, task, and you can save within the application. And if you are a manager or supervisor, you can see your team members calendar. So if you are going to have any team meeting, you can see the team members calendar also before you plan any meetings. Okay, so the reminder also you can auto set up. So any reminder list you can set up with the notes. So in the date and time dues, you can, it will automatically pop up the remind messages. Okay, so and you have the contact list, all the employees in the employee register, their details you can refer. Okay, in this contact list, and the drop down you can display your format as per your preference. It's multi-language supported. You can select any of language. Okay, the date format and other things you can configure it as per your preference, right? So you can maintain your personal details, and there's a substitute employee functionality. So here what you can do is, okay, if you are a manager and there are some situations like you can't access the system since you are in a vacation or sometimes you are in a sick leave. So in that case, what you can do is you can use this substitute employee option, and you can add any substitute employee from here, and you can give the time period. From there, it will automatically transfer those documents to the substitute employer. So from that employer can do the approvals on behalf of you. So that is how the substitute employee function is working. Okay. So those are the common features in the ESS portal. So before moving to the main transactions, I need to show you. How you need to configure those approval workflows and other master files. So to so because without those configurations, you can't run ESS portal. So there's a back office application for relevant to the this ESS portal. It is fully integrated with Sage 300. So as you can see, this is the back office application of the employee expense management solution. Uh, it is showing inside the Sage 300 like other core module because it is fully integrated with Sage 300. So nothing to worry about the transaction integration process between the Sage 300 and the expense management application. So the concept of this back office application, it helps to integrate the transactions uh, from the ESS portal to the Sage 300 core modules. So if we take ESS portal expense report, so that expense report you can transfer to the accounts payable through the expense module back office application. So not only that, so this is where you need to configure all the approval workflows and other master file details. Okay, so quickly, I'm going to show you how you need to maintain your approval workflows, right? So here I have created some sample approval workflow for the expense entry. So in the table, you can see I have aligned my process flow here. So in the action column, you can see in between start and end, decision and process actions there. So decision is where you need to maintain your condition. So there are some cases like you need to maintain condition basis approvals. So that's in that case you can use this decision action to maintain your condition. So the processes where you need to track approvals for this particular workflow. Okay, so in this example, you can see in my condition I have, so when you are creating the condition, there are predefined variables you can use. Okay, in this example I have used amount f variable, that means the employee expense report total amount. So if my employee expense report total amount greater than 1000, it will go to PID 01, the process ID 01. That means uh, this Stephen Fleming need to approve my document. Okay, so if my expenses report document total less than 1000, it will go to process ID 2. That means Stuart Jordan need to approve my transaction. So likewise, you can have more decisions and more processes as per your requirements. So here I have created a simple workflow to for easy understanding. So in the preview button, it will give you the graphical view at workflow process. Okay, you can see the conditions and can see who is going to approve these transactions. Okay, so and apart from that, so there is an email notification function also you can enable for those workflows. So which means if you are submitting any document for approval, so the approver can notify through the auto-generated email from the system. Okay, so you can maintain email templates for the document submission, approval or rejection. To maintain those email templates, there's a separate screen for that. Okay, from here you can configure the email template. You can design your email body using these predefined variables. Okay, so 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 if you are using this URL to application variable, which means the approver can directly log into the system from the hyperlink in the email body. So that will be very much useful in web application. Okay, you don't want to separately log into the system email body. The URL you can directly log into the system and approve the transaction. Okay, so that is part of the email template configuration and approval workflows. So now I need to show you how you need to maintain the master files relevant to the ESS portal. So employee register, you need to maintain basically all the employees in the organization. You need to maintain in employee web application of the employee expense management solution that has been powered by the Nomin team. So Nomin is the uh, development partner for Sage 300. Okay, so now I'm going to log into the system for to show you how the functionalities are working in the ESS portal. So this is we can call this as a hybrid solution because the normal staff users can log into the system and submit their transaction for management approval, like the expense reports and the cash advances and anything. So the top management users can use this application as an approval console. So they can log into the system and uh, approve the transaction online. And the most important thing is they can track the employee expenses real time. So so uh, this is kind of a cost-effective way to track the employee-related expenses to the. You can get the employee-related expenses to the Sage 300 because you don't want to waste expensive Sage 300 land pack licenses. So what you can do is you can give the portal access to your operational staff. So then you can get their expense informations to the portal, and from there you can validate those transactions because it has the approval workflow processes. So those validate transactions you can transfer to the uh, Sage 300 for the financial consideration. Okay, so this is the front homepage of the employee self-service portal. Earlier also I have told you, I have shown you the common features there, and I need to show you the back office application for the configuration. Okay, so here we need to maintain approval workflow processes. Okay, so quickly I will show you how you can maintain those approval workflows. So I have created some sample approval workflow for the uh, expense report. Okay, so this is my sample workflow for the expense transaction. So here in the table you can see I have a line, I have processed the workflow. In the action table you can see in the decision where you need to uh, create your condition for this particular workflow. So there are some situations like you need to have the conditions for your approval workflow processes. So this is where you need to configure it. So when you are creating the condition, you can use these predefined variables. Okay. So here I have selected amount F variable, which means the uh, expense report total amount. So if my expense report total amount is greater than 1,000, it will go to my process ID 1, which means this process ID Stephen Fleming need to approve my transaction. Okay, so from the other way, if my expense report total amount less than 1,000, it will go to my process ID 2 for approval. So which means the Stuart Jordan need to approve my transaction. Okay, so like this, you can have more decisions and processes as per your requirement. Here I have created only a simple approval workflow for easy understanding. So you can click the preview option, so it will give you the graphical view of the workflow process. You can see the conditions and who is going to approve this transaction. Okay, so and apart from that, for these workflows, you can have the auto-generated email notification function. So which means if you are submitting any document, which you are submitting a document for the approval, so the approver can notify by the auto-generated emails. So for those emails, you can email templates you can maintain for the email document submission, document approval, and any rejections. So to maintain those email templates, you can use this screen. So here, the module wise, you need to maintain email templates. So email body you can design by using these variables. There are lots of variables you can use. You can create your own meaningful email body. So if you use this URL to application variable, which means you can your approver can directly log into the system by clicking the hyperlink in the email body. So that is one of the benefits when you are using the web-based solution. Okay, so that is part of email template configuration and the approval workflows. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the how to maintain employees. So all the employees in the organization, you need to register inside the expense management application in the using employee register file. Okay, so because we are tracking the expenses employee wise, and we are giving the access user IDs we are creating directly from the employee register to the ESS portal. Okay, So when you are maintaining those employees in the employee register, you need to add some certain uh, details. Okay, in the expense control tab, you can see you need to add what are the expense codes this user will use when he's creating the expense entry in the front end application ESS portal. So with expense code, you need to tag the GL account, relevant GL account. Then it will automatically send the journal entries when the transactions are posting. Okay, so for those expense codes, you need to maintain amount limits uh, because some uh, organizations implement that there are limit, there are budgets for the relevant the expense code wise budgets. So from here you can maintain those budgets, and the budget limit check-in option also available. Okay, so if it is exceeding the defined limit, so you can throw warning or error messages when user creating the expense entry in the front end application. Okay, and the quantity wise also you can limit, because all the expenses you can't limit by the amounts, especially when it's come to the fuel. Okay, fuel. So for fuel so there's a limit for the liters, so in that case you need to maintain that in the quantity limit. So it's like 50 liters or 100 liters for months you can maintain. Okay, so and here in the year-to-date amounts you can see the cumulative balances for this particular employee, so you can have an idea the cumulative balances, the expense code wise. Okay, and the next one is the reimbursement. So in the reimbursement, I need to tell you that all the expenses, all the employees, you need to create as vendors in the accounts payable, because we are doing the reimbursements in the accounts payable module. So in that case, you need to create every employees in the account AP vendors, and you need to tag relevant vendor here. Okay, so employee wise, you need to do that. So for these expense codes, there is a master file you need to maintain expense codes. Okay, the back office application, when you are creating expense code, you need to tag relevant expense account, and you need to tag AR item if you are billing this employee expense for your customer. So you can use this AR item, then it will use when creating the AR invoice. Okay, so in the different currencies also you can uh, reimburse the amounts. Okay, so in that case we have to assign relevant currencies here. Okay, and the expense budgets also you can maintain department wise expense budgets. Okay, so like so if you can maintain those expense budgets, so later on you can generate report for the budget comparison. uh, from there you can see the actual amounts with the budgeted amounts. Okay, so those are the key configurations you need to perform before you enable the employee self-service portal, that means the front-end application. Okay, so now again I am moving back to the employee self-service portal to enter some sample transaction. Okay, so I will start entering travel request. Okay, so travel request is very much useful for the employees who are working in sales and marketing departments, because they are traveling. Also, their traveling informations are currently maintained manually. So from here, you can maintain your travel request. You can assign uh, budget for those travels, and you can do a cost estimation for this travel. Okay, so when you are clicking on that travel request button, from the left hand side, you can see the transaction status files. It has been segregated, so you can see what are the open transactions you have entered, the approved transactions, the cancelled ones. You can see the different menus. Okay, so now I'm going to enter new transaction, new travel request. Okay, so here what you can do is you can give the meaningful description. Okay, you can give location itinerary, from location and to location. Okay, then you can you have to give the duration, then it will automatically calculate the days and nights. You can put comments, and here you can do the estimation. Okay, so I think you remember that we have to predefine these expense codes in the back office application. So based on that configuration, the expense codes are showing here. So you can do the cost estimation here, right, by putting unit cost and everything. Then you can submit this transaction for approval. So I will show you the approved transaction, how we'll need to enter the details. Okay, so this has been approved. You can see the approval trail. Okay, it's like audit trail. You can see who has submitted this document, who has been approved this transaction. The approval comments also you can see here. Okay, from the travel request you can request for cash advance. Okay, so once the travel request approved, that's cash advance you can post to the accounts payable module. Okay, from the back end, once the travel request approved in the back end, you can see the cash advances. Okay, so these cash advances you can post to the uh, accounts payable module. So from here you can see there are some cash advances we have transferred. So those cash advances will be integrated to the Sage 300 accounts payable modules as prepayments. Okay, so then from here you can process the payment. Okay, so that is about travel request. So without travel request also you can do the cash advance. Okay, so there are some cases like you need to have a petty cash advance without submitting the expense documents. In that case you can directly do the cash advance from here. Okay, the, the same way you can transfer this to the same way it will integrate it to the Sage 300 as accounts payable prepayment. Okay, so now I'm going to enter the expense report. Okay, so when you are entering new expense report, you have to select the type. So in this type you have to select, is it against travel request or is it a direct expense report. So if I select this against travel request, I need to select relevant travel request here. Okay, if I select one travel request, I think you remember that when we are creating the travel request, we have to do the estimation. Okay, so based on that estimation, it will auto insert in the expense details. Okay, so this is your estimation cost. You can, in the expense report, you can put the actual cost and you can submit. So in my example, I'm going to give you, I'm going to enter direct expense report. Okay, so from here you need to tell the document. Okay, and the expense report date entry period also you have to mention. Okay, 20 seconds. So then it will automatically show you the days for this expense report. Okay, so you can select the date and enter your expense codes. Okay, add unit cost. Okay, and the going to add another expense code. Okay, right, so here you can see in the reimbursable column, the hotel accommodation, it's flagged as no. So that means this expense you can't reimburse, because there are some scenarios like some expenses directly paid by the company. So in that case, you can't reimburse, but still you need to record that in your expense entry. The same situation is applying for this hotel accommodation. So you can't reimburse that one, but still you need to include that in your expense report. Okay, I'm going to add cost for these terms. Okay, and here you can add line-wise details, line-wise attachments details. Okay, so any type of uh, file you can attach. So if you are using your mobile phone, so what you can do is, for this fuel charge, you can take a snapshot from your manual bill and you can put the uh, note and you can attach here. Okay, the same way, so each line you can attach the uh, files as per your requirement, so then it will be easy for approver to check the attachment with the expense codes. Okay, right, so the optional fields option is there. So if you want to maintain any additional informations, you can configure the optional field option also, right? So once you uh, finalize the data entry part, you can save this transaction, and what you can do is you can submit this transaction. Okay, so once you submit it, you can't edit any details here. So before progress the approval process, you can unsubmit again and you can do the changes, and again you need to resubmit it. Okay, so once it's submitted, from the approval trail you can see who is going to approve these transactions. Okay, and the action I have taken for this document, it's showing as audit trail. Okay, so now I need to log in as a Stuart Jordan to approve this transaction. Okay, so you can remember that from the Stuart Jordan can notify the that there can be a document need to approve from the email, auto generate email. Okay, so if you set up any auto generated email, from that also you can notify. Okay, so I'm going to log in as a separate user, Stuart Jordan. Okay, right, so from here you can see in the to approval list there's a pending approval. What you can do is we can open the transaction and you can check the line wise attachments. Okay, and here you can see the check limit option is available. So before you do the approval, you can check the amount limits. which we can assign in the back office application. Okay, so you can see the actual amount spending and this report, how much you're going to reimburse. And for if you're a manager, and you have to consider about the GL budget also, the expense. So the GL account budget also we can cross check with this. So before you doing the approval, so there's a comprehensive informations you can cross check to in order to do the approval. Okay, so in here I'm going to approve this transaction. As usual, it's ask the comment. So now the document has been approved, and so it has been posted to the expense management back office application. So from there, I need to transfer this to the accounts payable. So this task need to be performed by the back office user. Most of the time it will be the finance user. Okay. If you click this expense batch list, okay, you can see under today's date, one batch is there. You can open it. Okay, so you can open it and see the details. Okay, so this expense entry will be integrated to the Sage 300 as AP invoice. So you can change the AP invoice number if you want from here. Okay, so I'm going to post this transaction for AP. Okay, so now it has been transferred to the accounts payable module from here. In the invoice batch. So from the invoice batch, you can see in the there's a invoice entry has been created from the expense entry. You can drill down from here. If you're a from the accounts payable user can drill down the original expense entry from here. Okay. Here, accounts payable user can see the approval trail who has approved this transaction, what are the attachments, and is it with the budget. Okay, you can check the amount limits and GL budget, and you can post the transaction, and from there you can do the uh, payment process for the reimbursement. Okay, so that is how you need to maintain expense reports and the expense reports and the cash advances through the Sage 300. Okay, so now it's time for have the questions. So I will. So Steve, you can continue the session.
Thank you very much, Dulanta. And first and foremost, we had a technical issue. We apologize on that. So hope that you all got an understanding of the how to manage or digitize your employee expenses throughout the expense management solution. So is there is any questions, we are ready to answer in that, and you can raise your questions. Is there anything? Okay. Amila, over to you now.
Right. Thanks, Steve and Dulanta. If you have any questions, we can post it online. So we'll be more than happy to help you with any of your questions.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
This employee, I mean, these expenses only we can maintain for employees, or can we can we use for other type of expense also?
Other type of expenses means, could you please I just want to understand what the other type of.
For example, we are given different departments a petty cash.
Okay.
So that petty cash also, they first we give a float, and
Okay.
they will spend it for
Okay.
their daily operational use, and then they have to come to maybe a cashier to reimburse it.
Okay.
Okay, from the cash advance, you can maintain those petty cash reimbursements.
So we can we can use cash advance, and then we can reimburse that one.
Correct.
Yes,
Correct.
for
Based
that,
on that.
so for that cash advance, you can assign the approval workflow process. So then you don't want to have manual approval.
So they can attach whatever the documents they request for the advances, those things. So there won't be any manual approval required. So it will be automated. Even this is mobile enabled as well. So cash advances can be requested from any time. So it can be reimbursed to the system itself.
Actually, currently, what we are doing is we give a float, let's say, 5,000 rupiah to our department, and they will spend from there, and they take the invoices. I mean, they we gave a format to them in Excel form. Then they will petty cash statement they will create, and they attach all the documents with that sheet, and they bring hard copies to us, so we can through this application can we eliminate those manual or hard copies.
Yes, we will have a separate session with you in person, so we can discuss on that further.
Yeah, all right.
Thank you.
Right. Do you have any more questions? Can take another 30 seconds if anyone has any more questions. All right. If you don't have any more questions, so we can end the today's session. Anyway, if you have any questions or any queries, or if you all need any sort of demonstrations, any personalized demonstrations for your organizations, you can always contact your account managers there. I would be more than happy to visit you all in person and do a demonstration individually. Also, we apologize for the inconvenience caused in the middle due to some technical issue. Once again, on behalf of Zillion, we would like to thank you all for joining with us today. Hope you all were able to gather the solution, the details and all. And we'll be in touch with you all for any of your future requirements, and hope to see you all soon with another webinar with a similar solution like this. Thank you all. Have a good evening.